Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back for another OPTC video, and in today's video over here on the global side of the game, taking a look at the new treasure map versus Kaido. And I gotta say, V2 treasure map Kaido. I gotta say, I'm a big fan of this character's art. He just looks really, really cool. Like, really well done with the art. I love the way he's like body wraps around, and he's sort of just like looking all menacing with the flames and stuff. Really good job. But Kaido does have a V2 when it comes to treasure map characters. Let's take a quick look at the character and what he does, and then we're going to dive in and we're going to talk about my teams, what the stage breakdowns actually are, and what you guys need to bring to take down these particular events. Now, the way I like to build my teams, I like to build my teams around speed and trying to maximize my point value at the same time and finding a nice balance between the two. Big shout out to Ashanti or Among Us. If you guys know him, he actually came first in the last treasure map. I think he's going for number 1 again, so best of luck to you, my friend. He actually did help me put these teams together on stream today. So not only are they fast, but they do give quite a few points. Now, bit of a disclaimer, I do actually have Kawamatsu, but for the sake of the video, I have excluded Kawamatsu as I did like some beer summons with the boys on Friday night at the pub. So, we're going to leave it at that, but just be mindful, I haven't included Kawamatsu in my teams, but I'll tell you where I am going to slide him in. Kaido as a captain is a 4x captain to Dex characters, and he reduces the cooldown by 2 turns for Dex. Purely Dex, that's it. He's driven powerhouse, he's a Dex character as well. He has a stat boosting support, so who cares? But the big reason that we farm these treasure map characters is for their specials, and he has a bit of a unique special which makes him fairly, like, it makes him passable if you ask me. Reduces all enemies' damage nullification by 2 turns, which is pretty good because not a lot of characters actually do that damage null, so that's always nice to have. He then changes his own slot, including block slots, to Wano, boosts the attack and slot effects by 3 times for 1 turn. If other specials are launched 2 times, he cannot use his special. So basically very similar to like Ben Beckman and Shanks and stuff. You can only use his special if you've only used 2 other specials in the turn, or up to 2 specials. So him and another character's special. He gives himself an orb. He gives himself a 3 times attack and 3 times orb boost. So he's pretty good in like those stages where like stage 4 or stage 3 of like a Coliseum or an arena or something like that. And he can just sort of like take down that stage, especially if they are a quick character, because he has the Dex affinity. So he does have fear, which is kind of interesting. Why he has fear is beyond me, but like, I guess it's kind of cool that he has fear. He has slot bind, and then he has critical hit. I would have loved him to have enrage rather than like fear or like slot bind, I guess. Maybe even like hunger. Just any way to get this guy more attack would have been the best option for him. He does have a nice juicy 1961 attack. He does have a juicy 4500 HP and a little bit of recovery there as well. So a pretty, like, a fairly decent character. Not a bad treasure map character, but not a great treasure map character at the same time. This treasure map as well is the start of the sync as well. So I don't think this treasure map will be the updated treasure map. I think the next one will be. But with Onigashima Luffy, who's actually available, if you have a look here, Monkey D. Luffy Straw Hat in Disguise will also be available to be recruited. Robin, the Halloween Robin from the Halloween treasure map on Japan, as well as the free-to-play Jinbei, who was a point reward for the Onigashima Luffy treasure map as well. So you can get both of those as well as the Kaido, sorry, both of the treasure map characters in Robin and Luffy, as well as the Jinbei, as well as the Kaido, in the point rewards, which are basically your milestone missions, okay? So make sure to farm up those milestones, get your hands on those characters. That Luffy, especially, and that Jinbei. The Luffy is such an amazing character, not only for his support, he has a monstrous support, such a good support. I might touch on them at the end of the video if I get a chance, or if we don't go too long. Basically, his support goes on Yamato, Kid, and Law. He removes attack down by 1 turn, which is wild. He's a 2 times attack boost Rainbow. He's like the best int Luffy in the game. He also removes attack down and special bind by 6 turns. The Jinbei has an amazing support that locks orbs on free spirit characters, any free spirit character, which works amazingly on the new 6+ Yamato, who just came out on the global side of the game as well. And the Robin, well, the Robin, she's just okay. But you want to make sure you get her anyway, because she's a good free-to-play character. But the Luffy and the Jinbei, definitely make sure to farm them up. They are very good. Make sure to hit the points to get your hands on them. Fortunately, we do miss out on their treasure maps, but look, we lose some rewards, but by the time we have the sync, by the time we have the merge, it's not going to matter anyway, and it's going to be good for the game, it's going to be good for the economy, and it's going to be good for all players. Trust me. We do lose out on some effect pens, which kind of sucks. We do have the Treasure Bazaar update, which is kind of cool, so who will be joining the Treasure Bazaar? Koala. So Koala's coming to the Treasure Bazaar, which is always nice. And then you get a whole bunch of extra stuff. So if you guys want to check out the boosted list, we do have Okiku at 2 times the Raizo at 1.8, and the Kawamatsu at 1.6. So if you did do some summons and you managed to pick them up, you're very, very happy. But don't summon on the banner, it's not worth it. Like, maybe do the discount dip if you want to, but like, no. King, Queen, they were the boosted characters for this. They were the legends that came out around this particular time with Japan. The Yamato and the Yamato 6 Plus, as well as page 1, they're boosted here because they just came out on Global. They weren't this high boosters on Japan, but it's nice that they are on Global, as we are skipping their treasure map. And then we have the Zoro from the previous treasure map as well. He will be 1.4 times boost as well, which from the German Sugo Fest. Then we have the new batch in Who's Who, Sasaki, and Black Maria. We have Kanjuro and, what's his name? Orochi, the Denjiro, a bunch of free-to-play characters, the Shanks and Whitebeard batch, treasure map Sanji, Ace Sabo, Nami, Zoro, and Luffy Sanji. So nice 1.35 boosting batch. Actually a really, really nice boosting batch, this particular treasure map. And then we've got the 1.25 boosters, which are just all the treasure map characters, including the new Luffy, the new Jinbei, and the new Kaido, as well as the new Robin. So if you do want to put them on a team as well, they're another 1.25 booster. And you have a bunch of 1.2 boosters if you want to check those characters out as well. But let's dive into the crux of this video. Let's check out the team. So the first team is against Mr. Page 1. Now, Page 1 is stereotypically the easiest fight, but the double buggy strat only really works for, like, the first 20 stages. You can still use it if you want to change your team, but this is the team that I'll be using for most of that fight. Or actually, there are Hunger Tablets, as well as Fear and Shipbind Tablets as drops as well, so just be mindful of that. The free-to-play Luffy and the free-to-play Robin are the recommended characters, as we get 3 turns of despair, a full board of block slots, and there is immunity. So for this fight, I am using the Luffy strat. You can just use the super typing of Luffy to wave clear. Because he just has any Straw Hat in the crew, you can just do 50 times his attack and side damage to all enemies. So you can basically go super type, and then utilizing the treasure map Zoro himself, you can actually use his special. That's your 4 turns of wave clear, and you are hunky dory. Once you get to the very end, you do get a full board of block slot, so I am using the Brûlé support, and I'm using Katakuri. Katakuri is great because he is a chain locker. He can also rotate block orbs as well, but if you want to, you can bring like treasure map Sanji as well for this fight as well, for a little bit more points. He'll give more cooldowns as well for side characters, which means that you'll definitely have your Katakuri special ready to go. You can use your own treasure map Sanji if you want to, and then just like quickly tap, but that treasure map Sanji sucks, man. Like, I just don't like that unit. Then we have the what's his name? The Sea Monster. He's going to be our orb booster if we need the damage. And then we have Denjiro just because he's a 1.35. Like, you can literally put anyone else you want on the team besides Denjiro. So that's the page 1 fight. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple, and it's going to be pretty fast. On to King now. This is the particular team I have put together, or Ashanti actually put this team together for King. King is a strength unit, so we are using Zoro as our captain. Zoro, basically very similar to what we just said with Luffy. He can use his super typing, provided you have a Straw Hat on the crew from the Wano arc. So you have Sanji, Luffy, Nami, basically all of them, because they're all in Wano now, right? So you can use his super typing for damage, which is great. He does 75 times his attack and damage. And then because he has the reduced special at the start of the fight by 5 turns, you can actually also get his special ready to go. Pop his special, and then you'll just be at the final stage against King, which is awesome. On the final stage against King, the recommended characters are the Sea Monster and the Ashura Doji. So make sure to finish off that Ashura Doji if you haven't done so already. There's 4 turns of special bind, 4 turns of defense up. So obviously utilizing the Sea Monster to remove the defense up, Ashura Doji to remove the special bind, and you are hunky dory. With this particular fight, I do have Onami. Like, Onami's another option for you guys. She can set the defense to 0, and then you get a conditional boost. Because King doesn't actually have defense down immunity, you can actually get around it that way. Or you could use something like Verse Shanks. Verse Shanks is also going to set the defense to 0. So there's a bunch of different options you can use there. The Nami's great because she also triggers Zoro super typing. But you do have Luffy Sanji as well, who's a 1.35. So that team should work really, really nicely. Shouldn't have any issues whatsoever. Shanks is going to be our orb booster for slashes and Sai. So, like, everyone's boosted except for Nami on this team in terms of the Verse Shanks special. It'll all work pretty nice. But that, and then you have an attack boost with Luffy Sanji as well. So that is the King fight. Pretty straightforward again, pretty fast again. Big shout out to Ashanti for that one. Moving on to Jack now. Against Jack, we are using the 6+ of Onami. The 6+ of Onami and 6-star Onami are both boosted. So if you have 2 copies, you can use both of them. I'm using the 6+ here because she just works really, really nicely. Against Jack, his recommended characters are the Treasure Map Smoker and Kanjuro from the King and Queen batch. The preemptive is they give chain coefficient reduction at 0.1. They only let you attack with 3 units. And for 5 turns, they treat basically every single orb as unfavorable. So that's why, except for TND actually, except for TND, every orb is unfavorable, which is a bit odd. Then there is delay immunity. So the big thing with Kanjuro, right? Kanjuro is on such a stupidly high cooldown, but he gives you all bomb slots, which he actually makes matching. Then he reduces the chain multiplier rate, and then gives you your own chain buff. So he's going to work really nicely here because you can give you a full board of orbs. 30 turns is a lot. I mean, I need to finish, like, I need to special level mine. But if you do have this Kanjuro, he's really, really good. Otherwise, you can just use something like Sober Mask, I guess. Sober Mask should work absolutely fine. Just another way of getting matching orbs that aren't the stereotypical matching orbs. The way that I'm getting around the fodder stages, we are using Arena Shinobu. As you can see, I didn't even finish my Arena Shinobu. Like, I just didn't even care. Like, she's not a character you need to finish, but, like, if you have her finished, like, more power to you, I guess. Her special is going to do end of turn damage for 3 turns, and then she, like, gives her own cooldowns. Very similar to Last Tap Kid, which is really nice, because then you can use her to just single tap your way through those fodder stages. Or you can actually use the Onami special. Now, Onami does 150,000 damage to all enemies, and reduces cooldown by 1 turn. So what you can actually do here is you can use, like, the Shinobu, like, go tap, 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 and then, like, drop the Nami special and still have a Nami special for the final stage. So that's basically what I'm going to do. Otherwise, you can just, like, tap the first stages, then drop the 2 Onami specials, move on from there. But Shinobu's free, right? Like, she's a free character. She's also an attack booster for the final stage as well, so, like, that works nicely. But if you are using this Smoker, the Smoker's also an attack booster for fighter and driven characters. Unfortunately, because our captain's not fighter or driven, you're not going to get, like, the most amount of points there. But, like, you could change it up if you really want to. Like you really don't even need that Smoker. He's just got color affinity, I guess. Like, bring an Orb Booster, bring the Sea Monster. Like, it honestly doesn't even matter. Like, you will be fine. But for my Orb Booster, I am bringing Ace and Sabo. They're a shooter and a Free Spirit Orb Booster, which is going to give Orb Boost to basically the whole team except for Nami and Smoker himself. Honestly, like, now that I'm, like, really looking at it, like, let's take this Smoker off. He's a bit of a bomb. Shout out to my boy Ty. The biggest Smoker fan in the entire world. But look, Smoker's just dookie, you know? Like, Smoker's just, he's just bad. He's just bad. Let's just put Sasuke there, because, like, Sasuke gives us more points. Like, alright, on to Queen now. On to Queen. This one's a bit of an interesting fight, right? So, the main way we're getting around most of these stages on Queen is the fodder stages is using Vista. Vista has double special. He does 100,000 damage. So you can take out stage 3 and you can take out stage 4. But on stage 4, once things start getting harder, you want to make sure you use your Germa special. The reason you want to do that is because Germa, Brook, and Zoro are the boosted units for this. And on the final stage, you get a captain swap with your middle row. Now, for me and this team, I'm not going to worry about it too much because my 2 captains in the middle are both very, very powerful. And I don't really care which one becomes captain. But when things start to get a bit more tricky, you do want to use Germa to switch in. And that way you can get the orb boost. Now, you're going to have to probably use Germa anyway once it starts getting hard. So that's the big reason why, like, I'm not going to use it early and then I'll start using it later. So that way I get the Germa orb boost. But for me, I'm actually going to go, I've got Whitebeard in the middle there. So Whitebeard's a good captain as well. And he's going to buff this entire team anyway. So, I don't really care which one becomes captain. Zoro is another orb booster, and because Queen has damage reduction and threshold, you do need to make sure that you use the Zoro special and the Brook special to get around all of those anyway. So, Zoro being an orb booster and Brook being an attack booster, I'm pretty sure. You're an attack booster? Yeah, he's an attack booster. Like, you don't even really need to use your Whitebeard or your Germa special until later down the track. So, until then, like, I'm just going to use Zoro and I'm going to use Brook. The reason I have Zoro as my captain and not Germa is because of the captain swap shenanigans. And that way, like, you're just going to fly through the fodder stages anyway. You're going to go tap, 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 and then just special with Vista. And that way, you are just going to clap the rest of the stages and you are going to be fine for the rest of the fight. So, that is the fight against Queen. It's an interesting one, but again, shout out to Ashanti because this team's actually pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I like it. I like it a lot. Moving on to the final boss now. Unfortunately, we can't use that because I super evolved my Yamato. Alright, so we're back, and Yamato has been fixed. So once we hit the final fight, we come up against Lin, or Big Mom. Amnesia Big Mom, funny enough. And for me, I'm missing King and Queen, but I did manage to get my hands on Yamato. Now, if you don't have Yamato, you can run, no, actually you can't run page 1 ulti. You probably want to run a friend Yamato, but look, let's just have a chat about the content, because I built these teams today, and now it's nighttime, so. Lin, what does Lin do? The recommended characters are King and the 3 treasure map rare recruits. Alright, we're back, and I have my 6-star Yamato. So, against Lin, the Amnesia Lin, or Big Mom, as she's otherwise known as, the recommended characters are King, Okiku, Kawamatsu, and the new Raizo, the treasure map characters. On stage 4, you get 7 turns of buy-in, which should go down to 4 with your sockets, and your middle row gets special reversed by 2 turns. You also get 4 turns of burn, but it's burn, who cares? On stage 5, you get a full board of empty slots and 5 turns of attack down. And then the special use limit to 2 specials for 3 turns, as well as delay immunity. So, I'm using Yamato as my captain. I unfortunately don't have King or Queen. But, if you don't have Yamato, you can probably run page 1 ulti. You just need to replace Yamato with a bind remover. That should be absolutely fine. But just make sure you put Yamato, that character down the bottom as your top row, I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, your top row gets binded, and your middle row gets special reverse. So, very important that you put your bind remover down the bottom, whoever that may be. Like, pick a recommended character that can be used under both King, because this team runs with a friend Captain King, and then that also works under Yamato. So probably a driven character that can remove bind, right? You can also try out some supports. You need to remove 4 turns of it, so be creative with your supports as well. You could also use something like that. On the final stage, we can only use 2 specials, so we want to use the Who's Who special on stage 4 to get an attack buff. The reason we want to do that is so we get the auto trigger of King. We can use the page 1 ulti special to get a full board of orbs, and then Yamato gives us a full board of Wano slots that we can then lock, which is going to work really, really nicely. And we'll have heaps of damage to take out stage 4. Like, stage 4 is not going to be an issue whatsoever. Once we hit the final stage, we have Rockstar here. Rockstar is going to remove the attack down. He doesn't get boosted under Yamato, but he still gets boosted under King, and because he can remove the attack down, it works really, really nicely. He can also remove block orbs as well. This is why that Rockstar is like a really, really good rare recruit whenever I was like talking him up, because he works amazingly for this final fight as well. The final unit I have here is Black Maria. She just gives, she has color affinity. She can remove the special, wait, there's no special one. I'm talking smack, aren't I? Yeah, doesn't matter. She can give a color affinity boost, but you can just replace her with literally anyone you like. Like, she's just a color affinity booster. You can only use 2 specials, so you need to make sure that the King auto triggers. That way you have the chain boost, you'll have the orb boost, you have color affinity with Black Maria, and then with the Shiki support, we have a little bit of a 1.3 times attack boost to driven characters. This whole team is driven besides Rockstar. It is, sitting at 4.82, and then when you use a King friend captain, you are going to get a few more points. So it's going to work quite nicely. Like, it shouldn't have too many issues. What you probably could do is you could use like a friend Okiku. Like, that's an option for you guys as well. But I don't know how like her boost will go with those later stages. But it's definitely a viable option early on. But like, I'm just going to run friend King. Hopefully there's going to be a lot of friend Kings flying around. No pun intended. So that way you guys will have a little bit more options for this particular fight. On to the final, or the invasion fight now. We come up against Mr. Mr. Kaido. So the Dragon Kaido, he is a Dex unit. I think he turns into a quick unit. So like, sorry, yeah, so he starts as a Dex and he turns into a quick unit, because the recommended character for this fight is actually Queen. So Queen and then the new batch. Dex and quick characters get their cooldowns for this fight. And then on stage 2, you get a full board of bomb slots, 4 turns of paralysis, and there's 5 turns of defense up. On stage 3, you get a full board of block slots, there's 3 turns of resilience, and there's a 15-turn hit barrier, which is a little bit annoying. So, to get around the resilience, you can use something like the Dreadnought Saber, or you can bring a friend Captain Queen, and that's what I do plan to do with this particular team. Again, we are running full driven, then with Queen we have a driven powerhouse, and then we just have Ace Sabo, just because it's Ace Sabo. Because we get, what's it called? Because we get defense up on turn 2, as well as paralysis. We can get around the paralysis with Husu and the defense up with Black Maria. You could easily use something like the Sea Monster to get around the defense up. He's a free-to-play option. And then you could use any like paralysis remover instead of Who's Who. That's another option for you guys there. But Who's Who's an attack booster, Black Maria's color affinity booster, and it's going to help out on that stage very, very nicely. What you can do is you can then switch with like Ace Sabo, so you get a full board of orbs as well. Then you can pop the Queen special, And then Queen will give you an attack boost, and then use that Ace Sabo special to get oh, hang on. With Ace Sabo, they're an orb booster. That's the big reason I got Ace Sabo here. Let's just put any Luffy on him, right? So Ace Sabo with a Luffy becomes 3 turns of an orb boost to Free Spirit and Shooter characters. Actually, no, we don't want Luffy. No, we don't want Luffy. So that way we literally just use their special to get the auto trigger of Queen on the final stage. That way we can then use the Yamato special, the Page 1 ulti special to get a full board of orbs on the final stage through block orbs with Yamato. Page 1 ulti is going to be a conditional booster as well, and it's just going to work all super nicely. Once shit starts getting too like crazy, Page 1 ulti is going to kick in with their 2.25. We have the Chain Multiplier buff with their switch ability, and then Queen's going to be like the coefficient. Like this team's going to do everything. The Dofi support's going to be there for Driven. Orb boost on the final stage as well. And it's just all going to work super hunky-dory. So, they're my teams. Nice and fast, besides obviously these 2 teams here. These 2 teams, you just want to try and build like the highest points you possibly can. Because these 2 teams here are the ones that give you your max points. From the Page 1 fight, to the King fight, to the Jack fight, to the Queen fight. You basically just want to run these as fast as possible. Stuff like Super Type Luffy, Super Type Zoro, Legend Moria, all these characters are absolutely cracked for Treasure Map because they're just so quick at getting through the fights. Stuff like Treasure Map, Kizuna Kid, Colosseum Kid, Arena Shinobu, Colosseum Brook, all those characters that can do end of turn damage. V1 Kaido, even like V2 Kaido can be like a good shout sometimes, but like that unit's just stinky. But just try and make it as quick and easy as possible for yourself when you are facing these mini-boss stages. Because these mini-boss stages, they don't give you significant points to justify you taking heaps of time on them. And even if you are only using free stamina, you don't want to be playing Treasure Map for that long. Like, it's just not a fun game mode. So you just want to get in and get out as quickly as possible. The most fun is actually building these teams, right? And just testing if they work. And then maybe changing them if you like to go crazy high like my boy Ashanti does. But that's going to wrap up the video today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt that like button for me. And if you're new to the channel, hit that big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Let's